Synth drones. Today I want to talk about habits of synth addiction. That's right. Hey, I'm Pure Ambient Drone, and this is my channel where I vlog about synthesizers. So hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to keep up with all of my synth adventures. It's a lot of fun, and I would be so lonely without you. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Synth addiction is real, and the habits, the symptoms of such a, should I dare say it, disease? No, it's not a disease, is it? Okay, maybe it could be. I don't know. I haven't figured that part out yet. But I do know that because of my synth addiction, I do have some really bad habits. And one of them is I constantly check the prices of used synthesizers and gear online. I got really good at it too. At one point, I was actually bookmarking places on the internet, and I was bookmarking the criteria to load up the newest, latest searches for said gear, right? That's pretty bad. So that was one bad habit that I found myself doing a lot. I mean, like if an hour went by and I realized I hadn't done it in that hour, I was having withdrawal symptoms. I had to check these web pages. I would be in the middle of a music track production, and I would stop to check these bookmarks. Bad habit. Bad. I also found myself wanting to buy gear, wanting to shop for gear, wanting to look at gear, synthesizers the most, okay, more than producing music. What a bad habit that is, because it's actually taken away for the very reason that I was getting the synthesizers in the first place. And believe me, it is a vicious loop. It is a vicious loop. It is a vicious loop. Did I say it was a vicious loop? The other thing I want to talk about is, the other bad habit I want to talk about is I was depressing myself with this because I was looking at synthesizers that were really high in price that I know I would never own or could ever own, just because, one, they were out of the price range that I would ever be able to logically afford, okay? So that gets really depressing, and I would start setting my standards lower, my prices lower, and then my expectations would be lower, but they were really up here, but they were down here. And it was just like really depressing because I was thinking how I was never going to own that gear. So why would I look at it? I think a famous person once said, only a fool desires what he knows he cannot have, or something like that. Okay, and then the other thing is I was taking my synths that I wanted to get, my dream synths, literally to bed with me. I know that sounds crazy.
Don't tell me that you love me. I know it's just a lie. Dry your eyes, my darling. Let our love softly die.
Hear me out on this. I would go to bed and I would think about the synthesizer that I was dreaming about. And literally, I started to dream about it in my sleep. And there were maybe 3 synthesizers, I can't even remember which ones they were now, that I actually lost a whole night's sleep on just dreaming about it. I would wake up from the dream, and then I would go back to sleep and dream about it again. Has that ever happened to you? And then there's another trap that you can fall into that I haven't really fallen into, but it is creeping up on me at times, and I have to stop myself. And that is taking out a lot of credit to be able to pay for your synthesizers, and then before you know it, you're paying for a lot of synthesizers and you don't have the money. Now, I haven't fallen into that one, but it is a bad habit that I've seen other synth drones get themselves into. The other thing is that you get into a bad habit of selling off your synthesizers in order to buy the next synthesizer because you're so addicted to the new feeling of a synthesizer. You just want the best, and you think that the new thing is going to be the best, and then you get it, and then you're disappointed, and then you miss what you sold, And so I always tell people to be really careful about selling synthesizers to obtain other synthesizers, because the one that you're selling might be the very thing that you're going to miss and wish that you still had. And here's another bad habit that I fell into, and that is not learning completely everything I could possibly learn about a piece of gear before selling it. In other words, selling too quickly, trading out too quickly, getting rid of too quickly, only because I was impatient. So yes, a bad habit of synth addiction can be impatience. I think another bad habit would also be, and I'm not really too bad about this, but I've heard other people doing it, researching and reading about synthesizers, which isn't really a bad thing because it's always good to learn, okay? It's always great to watch informative videos. But I found that there's a lot of videos out there designed to get you to buy synthesizers, and I was doing that. You have to be very, very careful. Now, I'm not going to name the channels on YouTube that I have a funny suspicion are very well tailored to getting you, me, us to buy synthesizers. But I think the biggest habit of synth addiction is basically window shopping all the time and not even using what you have already in the studio, and becoming overwhelmed and frustrated with everything that you have. And you come into your studio and you don't know where to start. And you know what you do? Now, this is a bad habit, and this is a symptom of synth addiction. Instead of going to your gear and playing with your gear, making music with your gear, learning your gear, you get on your computer or your favorite synth magazine and you start looking for more gear because you just don't want to deal with what you already have because it's too overwhelming. Now, one of the biggest problems you're going to come up against when you have a synth addiction is money to fund it, time to explore it and to enjoy it, and number 3, guilt. A lot of people that I talk to, and it doesn't have to do just with synthesizers and gear in general, a lot of people who suffer from addictions of any type, they also suffer from an immense amount of guilt. I have to take responsibility, and I have to know first and foremost that I'm the one with the synth addiction, not my wife, not my friends, not my family. I am. And because I know that, and because I can see it clearly and accept it, I can deal with it one step at a time. And I have gotten better, I have to tell you. Synth addiction is a real thing. And a lot of people don't even want to admit that they've got it. But I'm here today to confess to you all that I am a synth addict. And some days I'm proud of it, and other days I'm ashamed. That's all I have for you here today. I want to thank you guys for joining me for another video. And if you don't mind, hit the subscribe button and support me over at patreon.com/pureambientdrone. It encourages me to continue doing this. You know I love all of you guys. So say hello to me in the comments below. And don't just say hi. Leave something meaningful. Look who I'm talking to. You guys are the experts. I'm just here to learn from you. Until next time, keep calm and synth on. Oh, and while you're at it, why don't you check out one of these videos? You might like something else that I've done.